Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today we're diving deep into relational quantum mechanics, RQM, a fascinating interpretation of quantum theory. It's a real game changer, you know?
I'm eager to hear this. What's the core idea behind RQM that sets it apart?
The big shift is that RQM focuses on the values of physical variables, not the wave function itself. Think of it like this. Instead of a mysterious wave function describing a system, we have concrete events, a particle being at a specific position at a specific time. These are relational events.
Relational? So, the value of a variable isn't inherent to the system?
Exactly. The value is relative to another system. Like velocity, you only have a velocity relative to something else. RQM extends this idea to all physical variables. A system's properties only have meaning within the context of its interactions.
That's a pretty radical departure from traditional views, isn't it? What about the observer? Does that play a special role?
No, not really. The observer is just another physical system. It's not a special, classical entity separate from the quantum world. Any system can be the observer in RQM. It's a more democratic approach.
I see. So, how does RQM handle the wave function then? Isn't that central to standard quantum mechanics?
Right. In RQM, the wave function isn't a property of a single system. It describes the relationship between two systems. It encodes information one system has about another, based on their past interactions. It's a relative state, not an absolute one.
Interesting. So no collapse of the wave function?
Well, the concept of collapse is different. The state, relative to one system, changes when it interacts with another, but it doesn't imply a universal, absolute collapse. The change is only relative to the interacting system.
And what about superposition? The famous Schrödinger's cat thought experiment?
Yes. In RQM, a cat in a superposition doesn't mean it's half alive, half dead. It means that its interactions with the environment will yield either a live or dead cat, with certain probabilities. The superposition is about the potential outcomes, not the cat's actual state.
So the superposition is a description of the possibilities, not a description of reality itself?
Precisely. And this neatly avoids the measurement problem. The act of measurement is just another interaction, and the outcome is relative to the measuring system.
That's a compelling argument. But how does RQM relate to other interpretations, like many worlds?
Both RQM and many worlds stem from Everett's work, but they differ significantly. Many worlds postulates a universal wave function with branching universes. RQM avoids this, focusing solely on relative states and interactions between systems.
So RQM is more parsimonious?
Yes, much more parsimonious. It doesn't require the vast ontological commitment of many worlds. It's a more minimalist approach, focusing on what's directly observable through interactions.
This is fascinating. But doesn't this relational view lead to some kind of solipsism? If everything is relative, how can we have shared knowledge?
That's a common concern. But RQM doesn't imply solipsism. The key is that interactions create correlations between systems. These correlations allow for shared knowledge and agreement on observations, even though the values themselves are relative.
So the correlations are the objective reality, not the individual values themselves?
Exactly. The correlations are what we can observe and agree upon. It's a shift in perspective, but a powerful one.
This has been a truly enlightening discussion. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's a complex topic, but hopefully, we've shed some light on the core ideas of relational quantum mechanics. Thanks for listening to Tech Bytes and News. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.